Someone asked me to address the issue about the Fed takeover in D.C. Listen, I'm from D.C., born and raised in D.C., and since 86, we've been dealing with killings on a high level, especially in the late 80s, early 90s, and it dissipated somewhat in the late 90s and early 2000s. But it still was high numbers above most of the other cities in the country. My thing is this. Now, I'm with the takeover and the extra help because the youngest is getting out of hand and they never experienced nothing like this before. When we was growing up in the 90s, I remember the National Guards being right there on 34th Street, up 37, down Nelson, up Greenway areas. They would put up big lights and sit out there and just watch the neighborhood. So we used to feds coming and helping in D.C. And it kind of like let us know we had some serious issues going on in our community. So it started making some of us be more aware of it. See, this day and time during the social media era, we kind of like just brush things off because you ain't out there. See, back then we was out there dealing with that shit every day. Now, the code changed. The youngest now, back then it was worse in terms of the amount of people getting killed. But at the same time, there's a code where the civilians was off limits. You may had someone accidentally get hit then and there. Not like now. Old folks was completely off limits. Some women were completely off limits unless they were involved into the street game. But youngest wasn't going around when I was a youngin' at that time. If somebody got robbed, that dude was a street dude most times. That dude was involved in some street activities, or that dude was doing shit hot and dudes saw him as a target. Nowadays, you just a regular dude getting off work, you getting robbed. Back then, that was, unless you was a super cruddy motherfucker to do something like that. But this day and time, these dudes hitting kids, they robbing mothers, they robbing dudes' fathers, they disrespecting grave sites, they disrespecting funerals, they disrespecting dudes' parents, grandparents. It's like it's a wild, wild west. And I got a two-part. My thing is, I'm with it, but what is to do after now? See, what are they going to do after they leave in 30 days or stay in extension time? What is the solution to fix a major problem is the thing that I want to know. I have few solutions, and one of my solutions should be vocational training for these young adults to be able to cope in America and cope in the world. All it is now being gentrified. All of these new buildings are being built. These young men should have these skills and be able to participate in building their city as well. Vocational schools is a must. Everyone is not going to be a college graduate. We need auto mechanics, not only at Phelps, but we need a centralized vocational school where young adults and high school students are mandatory to go to. Especially the high school students should have mandatory vocational training if they are not wanting to be a college student. That is necessary. They had the cadet programs. I think that's still going on. Continue that. Persuade some of these young men and women to be firefighters more, to be police officers. government workers, encourage them to go into that direction, meaning it has to be a priority. When you go to high school and you don't have the ability or do not want to go to college, you should automatically be put into a trade program for 2 years. You should also either have cadet program. You can be a cadet or you can be in that program. That should be mandatory. It shouldn't be no second option. It should be mandatory for kids to have a skill. Bring back barbering. Bring back hairstylists, cosmetology. Bring those trades back. Bring back new trades such as those who want to be a chef. Let them have the abilities to cook in a restaurant. Make that mandatory within the school systems. That is it. We can no longer put a Band-Aid on an open wound. It's not going to work. Let me rephrase this. I have nothing against the takeover, federal takeover, but I do have something against we not having a solution once this problem once they go back to arresting whatever they're going to do, the feds, DC need to create a solution so this will not be needed to happen again. Let's get these skills, young people. Teach these young people skills. Bring back boxing. Boxing is around. Shout out to PVA boxing. Shout out to the recreation system. Encourage the young people to want to box, play football, get back into the sports system, whatever it takes. But you got to have some skill as a young black man in Washington, D.C. Mayor Bowser, make vocational school mandatory for 2 years. Make it mandatory for young adults. Propose a central vocational program system. I'm talking about one mass vocational schools for not only students, but also adults. Adults need to be able to have those skills as well. Make one side for the kids, the other side for the adults. Those that's coming home from prison should be able to go to those trade schools as well and get into those programs just like the young adults, but have two separate systems in there. So we can fix 2 in 1. We can fix the parent as well as fix the student. And we can make DC the most prominent city in America as it has always been. Peace.